Welcome to Talking with T, Season 2, a podcast with all the streamer friends. I'm joined here by a guest from New Zealand, Matt3yboi. Hello.
How's it going?
Good, thank you. How are you?
You're not too bad. Good start to my morning.
Yeah.
Just had some food and chilling there.
Nice. Nothing like a good start to the morning with some food to get you energized throughout the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
For those of you who do not know Matt3yboi, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Matt3yboi. I'm a Twitch streamer. I started a year ago. Always been a full-time gamer. Started on PlayStation as a competitive gamer. I probably started gaming when I was about 6 or 7. Got a PlayStation 1, a Game Boy. Got into little stuff like Pokemon. I used to play RuneScape when I was a kid in the library at school for many years, and then kind of carried on to playing first person shooters. Played a bit of World of Warcraft, all sorts of different games. When I was in high school, I kind of went to internet cafes with my friend, and we still actually start gaming from, I think it was 7 or 8 at night till, and we'd get, I think it's like $15 and we get 12 hours of gaming. So yeah, start at 7 at night and go till 7 in the morning.
Wow.
And it was real cheap. So yeah, we used to do a lot of gaming when we were kids, and then it kind of just increased and increased. And I thought, why not share it with everyone else? So that's kind of what happened, and it's kind of got me to where I am now.
A major transition there from, PS1 nostalgic kind of games to actually like working with playing first person shooters. Was that a big transition for you?
I can pretty much play any game. It doesn't have to be a first person shooter. It could be, like World of Warcraft, or it could be me getting on a Game Boy or something. It's not gaming. I think is all about, figuring out what the game is and trying to beat it, or, being the best at it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I wouldn't say that, like, I'd say I'm probably the best at first person shooters or that sort of SPS sort of game, but I wouldn't say that it's just my go to.
Yeah, so FPS is your go-to now, yeah?
I'd say I'm best at it. I wouldn't be my go-to. I like a lot of different games. I play at the moment. I'm playing a lot of GTA roleplay. I was playing a couple weeks ago Valheim, which is a third-person kind of survival Viking game, which is completely different to a first-person shooter. I used to play a lot of competitive Fortnite a couple years ago, so I wouldn't limit myself to first-person shooters. But at the moment, first-person shooter, sort of Warzone, Call of Duty sides of it would probably be the most popular competitive thing going.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. It definitely is working, to see what the game is like and how you can kind of beat the game and things that you need to improve kind of thing, yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly, yeah. So you started streaming a year ago, yeah?
Yeah, just under.
Wow, there you go. How do you feel like you've kind of progressed as a streamer?
Well, I think I first started streaming on my PS4 and was kind of limited on a PlayStation. Couldn't really do a lot of things. You couldn't, use OBS Studio. You couldn't put up all your like alerts and sounds, and that kind of didn't make me very happy. I wasn't able to do all that stuff. I was seeing all these cool things when other people streamed, and I was like, man, I need to, figure a way I could do that. And through COVID, it didn't really help because I couldn't get my hands on all the gear and stuff. But after the first lockdown, I decided that I use some of my money and buy my first PC and kind of get it all started. So yeah, it's been a long, kind of annoying process. The first PC I brought for streaming was actually faulty, and it I had to actually cancel streams for about a month or two because obviously my PC had to be sent away because it was on warranty, and I had to get that fixed. So that kind of put a stop on everything. And I went through a bit of stuff, like people were asking where I was and what had happened. And I kind of was like, oh, PC's broken. And then after I got my PC back, I had a few ups and downs. So yeah, it's been a journey, but it's kind of starting to, see the light, and I'm thinking about getting another PC so I can stream and game at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely right. It does seem that there is some sort of limitations there with being a PS4 streamer originally, having a faulty computer. I can kind of see where you're coming from with that, because I started off streaming with a mid 2011 iMac, and my regular viewers know this. The fan became like faulty because like it's not compatible for streaming and playing games at the same time. So I would play Minecraft and it would overheat really badly. Like I could touch like the top of the Mac and it would be hot to touch. Like you can actually cook an egg on that thing.
Mm.
So yeah, but I got myself a new PC for Christmas. It's been really good.
Nice.
I would say you average around like 5 to 7 views at the moment.
Yeah, it depends on the night, depends on what's going on, what I'm playing.
Yeah. Do you think that you're pretty stable at the moment?
Yeah, pretty stable. It depends on the time I'm playing, who's around, what's going on. You're never going to get the constant one viewer come into your stream unless he's very dependent on you, I'd say. But yeah, I have a lot of people that won't come into my streams unless I'm playing purely Warzone or, playing certain games. So you can't really count on people coming in just for one game unless they're there just to watch you and they want to, experience you on different games. So yeah, it comes and goes. I don't really care about who's watching me, and this, they're there for me, and I really care about uh, people watching me because they want to watch me, not because of how good I am at the game.
Exactly, that's true. You want to have people watching your streams for you. With the whole, different viewers watching games that they prefer, you're right. Viewers do kind of tend to watch games that they enjoy. Some viewers would watch people that play Call of Duty over Valorant, or Valorant over Call of Duty, that kind of thing. So it varies, but you at the end of the day, as long as they're watching you for you, that's all that matters. People come and go, and it is what it is.
You can definitely decide, or you can tell who's there for the long shot. I've had a lot of people that come in that used to come in and don't come in anymore, and they come in like once in a blue moon and say hey, and then they're gone. Or people get busy, change their lifestyles. You can't depend on someone to be there every stream, but it's always a really good thing if they actually come back and say how's it going.
Yeah, of course, it is a good feeling, when they come back and they ask you, how you are, how's, uni, how's life, that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
The games that you would play when you were playing PS1 or PS2 at the time, were they kind of nostalgic games, like, I don't know, Crash Bandicoot or something like that?
Well, I actually kind of went from PlayStation 2 to Xbox and then back to PlayStation 4. So, as I said before, kind of the games I started on were for PlayStation 1 would have to be like, yeah, Crash Bandicoot, Doom, all the old school kind of basic games that whatever you could really get your hands on at the time. PlayStation 2 would be like Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter, all the kind of iconic PlayStation kind of games that came out. There weren't actually that many back in the day. I think the big thing that kind of made gaming a big topic would be when I first brought an Xbox because I wanted to play Halo, and you could only play Halo on Xbox. So that's kind of why I went from PlayStation to Xbox, because I really wanted to play Halo, and it was like a crazy cool campaign. So I had the Xbox, had that for a couple of years. I think I got a 360 and kept playing all the Halo games because they were really cool. And then kind of Halo kind of died out. I don't think there's been a Halo in over 10 years, so that's why I haven't really been bothered to buy another console or an Xbox. So I
Yeah.
changed over to PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4, most of the games I was really into back then, I didn't really do a lot of online gaming for a while because I was just busy with life. So I was playing a lot of like campaigns. I always had a passion for like clocking games. So yeah, I clocked a whole lot of campaign sort of games, which was really fun. And then in the last kind of couple of years, I've got back into online gaming. I used to play a lot on my Xbox, a lot of games like Modern Warfare, the first Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4, and then Modern Warfare 1 and 2. Warfare 1 is Call of Duty 4, so Call of Duty 4 and then Modern Warfare 2, and then you kind of went up to all the Black Ops. I think I kind of got out of online gaming when it got past Call of Duty World at War, where the Nazi zombies first released, and then had a few years off, and then came back kind of in the last year or two.
Yeah. That's interesting how you mentioned how you transitioned to Xbox and then back to PS4. For me, it's actually reversed. Like, I originally played games on the PS2 and then I transitioned to Xbox and haven't gone back to PlayStation. I would like to. I would like to eventually get one of the new kind of consoles, like the PlayStation consoles, but I was the same like you. I played PlayStation and I got a 360 for my birthday and haven't really gone back since.
Hmm. I don't know. I don't really like consoles anymore. They're very limited and you can't get a lot out of them. The performance wise, they're very expensive for pricing on games. I find PC, everything's a lot cheaper. You can just get a lot more gaming and there's a lot more community out there. So I don't think I'd ever go back to console. The only time I would ever go back to console would be Pacific game that only I could, play on console.
I agree with you to a certain extent because some games you can't really get on a PC that would actually be really worth playing, like racing games, Forza Horizon, that kind of stuff. Like, I would, if that game was on PC, I would play it. And if some console games were on PC, I would play them as well. And you're right, some computer games they are cheap, but at the end of the day, there are some that aren't like Cyberpunk. That's pretty expensive.
Yeah, kind of comes and goes. I think the new generation of gaming, all the big gaming developers have decided that they're going to just release their game on all platforms, which has helped. If you look at things like Warzone is cross-platform. It was the first game ever to be cross-platform. Sony and Microsoft had battles over the years telling each other they'd never make a game that would be cross-platform, and look at it now. Warzone, you got Fortnite, we got Apex Legends. All the biggest battle royales these days are all cross-platform after all these massive developers said that they never work with each other. So I wouldn't say never with gaming. I think in the years to come, a lot of the games that only able to get on Xbox and PlayStation will move over to swapping with each other or moving to PC as well, so you'll get all three things. I don't think a game should be limited to one platform. I think that's just a certain company saying, "Oh, I only want people to buy that game or play that game on my thing because I'm going to make more money." But that's actually not true. I think if you have your game on every single platform, you're going to make more money because it doesn't limit them. Or a lot of people don't want to have all three consoles or platforms. So I think if you have it all in one, then it makes life easier, and you save money, and you're making more money in a sense because you're giving it out to all the different platforms.
Things are definitely changing for sure, especially what you said about the cross platforms, and Crash Bandicoot will be an example of that. It would primarily be on PlayStation. Like, I'm pretty sure the people that started off at the time playing a PS2, the first thing they will get is Crash. Now the new version of Crash Bandicoot that came out last year, that's now cross-platform. It's on the Switch, it's on Xbox, things like that. But now there's sort of an issue involved where certain streamers, they don't really know what games to play. Like, there's not much games coming out because developers are spending so much time making sure that games are well developed. And it's true because graphics have kind of evolved since when we first started to now.
Yeah, definitely. That is a big thought at the moment. I've been struggling to find new games to play. I've actually kind of gone back to playing old games because playing the same game every single day gets a lot boring. And I think a lot of developers have promised a lot of big games to be dropped last year, and they never got dropped because of COVID. If you look at games like Cyberpunk, that game was supposed to be one of the best of all times, and everyone was really disappointed with the graphics, the bugs. I had the game. Actually got the game for free, but I played the game for about, I don't know, 6 hours, and by then I'd already got sick of it because it was so buggy and I was unable to play it. I think they ended up refunding everyone on PlayStation and Xbox, or if
Yeah.
you had a console, because it was such a bad game. So I don't know, a big developer like that, I don't know how you can get it so wrong that they have to take it off the market. I think a big thing this year will be the new Halo Infinite. That looks pretty big. But as I said, it's kind of the same as movies these days. A lot of things have hype. A lot of things were made really good back in the day, and games aren't being designed and made as good anymore because they've got this time limit and this rush. I think everyone just needs to slow down and take some time and make a decent game. If you look at all the Call of Duties, they used to be amazing games, and they've just released a new Call of Duty at the end of last year, and they used to only release a Call of Duty every year, and they were doing it in 6 months, and the game's just horrible.
Yeah, exactly right. But with some streamers, yeah, fair enough, they don't have enough games to play, but at the same time, are they actually playing games that they enjoy because they're sticking to trends? Whatever game is peaking at the moment with how many people are watching them on Twitch. And at the same time, you're right. I mean, I have heard Cyberpunk having problems with that being glitchy and stuff, so they should either definitely take more time and not stress, or release it knowing that it's been heaps of years in the making.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of games these days, they release them as betas, and then if people complain, they're like, "Oh, it's only in beta," and they've got a leg to stand on. I think
Yeah,
a lot of games, the really good games like Rust and the new one that I've been playing at the moment, which is humongous, is Valheim. They're both beta games, and they've said this game is a beta. It's not a finished game, so don't expect it to be finished, or don't expect there not to be bugs. Which I think a lot of developers should just say all games are in beta. Look at Fortnite. That game was not even a full game. It was literally a beta game. They were testing it, just blew up, and millions of people play it.
mm,
So yeah, if they're not going to be finishing games, they should be you know pre-releasing them as a beta, and then all this talk about games not being finished and games being broken is it won't stand up.
yeah, you're right. Fortnite definitely has changed, and a lot of 12s do play Fortnite. And talking about beta games like Valorant, that only came out last year, and it was in beta. Like, everyone can download it and everyone still can download it, and it blew up like that.
Valorant's definitely another game that blew up, but yeah, I haven't seen much in the way of new games this year. I think the only game I've really played that's new would be Valheim. At the end of last year, we had the new Call of Duty. That game was really bad, so I haven't really been playing it. It'll be interesting to see what else gets released this year. I've heard a few speculations, but nothing really kind of hard evidence.
Yeah, I hope things definitely get released this year. Might help out all those, streamers that are stuck there not knowing what games to play. Speaking about Call of Duty, you definitely play that mostly in your streams.
I used to, yeah. I've been playing a lot of GTA roleplay lately.
With first person shooters, is there any preferred first person shooters that you play?
Mostly Call of Duty. I used to play a bit of Halo back in the day competitively, but I don't have an Xbox anymore, so I can't play it, and there hasn't been one in 10 years.
Do you play Valorant or Apex? You play Apex, I've heard, but I don't know.
I used to play a bit of Valorant. I just don't like the competitive side of Valorant. I don't think the game's designed that well. You can be put in lobbies that aren't realistic to your KD, etc. So yeah, I've never been a very big Valorant fan. I love the game. I like how it works, but I don't think it's designed to resource what's going on. Apex is a another game. I think it has potential. It hasn't really changed a lot. That map that you play on has always been the same. They haven't really updated it. I find that can be quite buggy as well. And I know it's massive overseas, but I can never find a good, oceanic lobby to play in. I can never find an actual game to play on most of the time unless I'm playing at peak hours when I'm streaming. So I don't really bother with Apex. I used to play it a bit when it first came out and the lobbies were popular, but as I said, I can't play the game unless I'm playing on high ping, which just doesn't really make sense.
Competitively, you're right, Valorant isn't the best because I played Valorant for a certain amount of time, and either the people that are on there when you're playing in an unrated match, they're not on your level, they are better than you. My experience solely on playing Valorant, I would play a match and enemies would come randomly from behind of me, and all the enemies would stick in one zone, whether that would be A, B, C, and they would just gang up on you and shoot you.
Valorant is a very slow-paced game, and everyone, has a different agenda playing Valorant. So you can't really expect what's going to happen or where people are going to come from. It's very campy. It can be a very snarky game.
It's a slow game for sure, especially when you die. Like, you have to wait for a minute. Like, come on. Just talking about your point about Apex Legends, did that just come out?
Came out around just after Fortnite.
You spoke about it being buggy, and I've seen Apex be a bit buggy on other people's streams. Is that because it was like a new season or something?
I don't know. I don't really pay much attention to Apex, to be honest. I haven't played it in years. I downloaded it again a couple of weeks ago and couldn't even find a game, so I deleted it.
Yeah, fair enough. You play GTA roleplay now. Like you
Yep.
said, you've been vibing with that lately. I saw your stream yesterday. I absolutely enjoyed it. It was really good. Do you have fun playing it? Like, it seems that you enjoy it.
Yeah, GTA is another level. It's very realistic, and you've got to kind of play to your role, and you can't really get out of character. So you can be whoever you want on GTA. You could be a doctor, or you could be a gangster, or you could, I think that's why a lot of people are attracted to a sort of game like that because a lot of people can't be themselves in real life, or they've got commitments or things to do. So I think a lot of people play GTA roleplay because but in real life you can't just go and rob a bank or go drive the fastest car you've ever wanted to down the road. But on GTA you can. You can break the law, or you can go steal a car, drive the fastest car you want, have the most money you want, or
Yeah.
if you really wanted to, you could go and find some girl on it and live happily ever after, without having any consequence or spending any time. I think that's why GTA is a massive thing at the moment.
Very realistic for sure. Do you remember that scene where it was buggy?
Yeah.
Oh my god. How come it did that? That was so odd.
It's just the servers. It can be anything to do with graphic. But yeah, you'll find bugs in games all the time. If you play a lot of games, you'll kind of get used to playing with bugs, and you're never going to find a game that's completely unbuggy. It's just part of it.
Yeah, for sure. What's that one saying all the streamers are saying now? Sheesh, isn't it?
Oh, sheesh.
I wonder where that came from.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Do you have any plans as a streamer to see how you can improve or have any goals?
I think playing more games would be a good one, be more of a variety streamer. I think when we get some more games in, it could probably pump me up and get me going again. I'm always trying to improve, get better gear. I want to build another PC, so I've got a gaming and a streaming PC, which will help heaps. So I can, I'm not getting frame drop rates and all that jazz. Ideally, in the future, I'd love to have my own stream room where I can, have my little cave and do my own thing, and set up a whole lot of stuff in my background and get a whole lot of colors and better audio and whatnot. But that's kind of a goal in a couple of years or so. So yeah, I think I'll just keep what I'm going, and if I get to a certain stage where I'm bringing in massive viewers, then I can kind of start increasing my stream backgrounds and that sort of stuff.
When you increase in viewers a little bit, do you think you're gonna get yourself out there a little bit more with YouTube, TikTok, something like that?
Yeah, I can't really record and play and do all that stuff at the moment. My PC can't handle it. So until I build my new PC, I can't really make video content and stuff. I've got a TikTok and a Twitter and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I do make the occasional TikTok video, but I probably should spend a bit more time doing all that sort of stuff. It's just busy doing life and streaming and making content, in my spare time. I don't have a lot of that.
Yeah, we all have lives. I mean, I'm a university student, so I'm juggling streaming and uni at the same time. Speaking of, you having a life and stuff, do you work?
Yeah, I'm a graphic designer, so I do that as well.
You're a graphic designer. You get, clients regularly come in asking you for your work. What do you think about that? Do you enjoy it?
Been doing it for a long time, so yeah, very used to it. Very competitive. I do enjoy it. It's quite. It's always good to be doing something different each job and each day.
Yeah,
Um, and you get used to people's feedback. A lot of people, don't like your work, and you kind of have to change it or alter it to what they're like. And that's kind of the same thing with streaming. You kind of have to find what people like and kind of play around with what works and what doesn't. So I think I'm very used to being. I wouldn't say rejected, but I'm used to people not liking some things and kind of changing it to suit others.
yeah. A huge balance you got to find there with people that enjoy you for you and your work, and that's with streaming as well. How long have you done graphic designing for?
Around 6 years, 7 years.
6 years. Wow. Do you think your graphics designing has developed within the 6 years that you've been doing it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you kind of just get better and better as you go, and you learn heaps of different aspects and whatnot.
You definitely get better over time when you start doing things, for sure. Do you still do it now?
Yeah, yeah, I would do it in my spare time in the mornings and stuff, building websites and doing branding and whatnot.
With your experiences as a graphics designer, is it a big help to you as a streamer, like knowing how to brand yourself and stuff like that?
Well, yeah, for graphics and stuff, if I want any, I can kind of look at it and see if it's good or not. So it's good having the experience that I know what to, look out for, what works, what colors work, all the aspects of design, and yeah, that helps definitely being a streamer. And I kind of, already know the kind of little bits and pieces of using video editing software and all that sort of stuff when I get to make clips and whatnot. So yeah, it definitely helps.
That's a good advantage to kind of have as a background there.
Yeah, for sure.
I enjoy a little bit of graphic designing myself. I've shown you a bit of my work off stream, but I've definitely have seen some progress with my work. Just doing it as something that I enjoy as a hobby kind of thing. So how long do you think you're gonna do it for? Is it a long term thing?
Yeah, well, it's my full time job. I'm not exactly going to be ending anytime soon. I'll probably do it for the rest of my life.
That's good. If you enjoy it, then keep doing it for sure. You live in New Zealand, yeah?
I do. That's correct.
In Auckland.
Yeah, I live in Auckland in One Tree Hill.
Nice, nice. So, what's the weather like there?
Pretty sunny today. We're coming. It's obviously autumn at the moment, so we're getting into winter, which is kind of lame. But it's been so hot here. I'm kind of looking forward to the cold.
Yeah, it hasn't been hot here where I am in Australia. There's been a lot of rain. I'm glad that it's sunny for you where you are in New Zealand.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be sunny for much longer. I think it's going to be wet and windy soon.
I could imagine that it will be like the winters will be a lot more colder than it is in Australia.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it gets under the it gets into the minus temperature.
Oh
We
wow.
get a lot of snow.
Ugh, very, very cold. Melbourne is very cold. Like that's the closest we would get to kind of New Zealand winter kind of thing.
Yeah, it depends on what part of New Zealand you're in. It gets a lot colder down south, closer to the South Pole.
Mm. Did you live in Auckland growing up?
Yeah, I've always lived in Auckland.
What are places that you would recommend people to go to in New Zealand that haven't been there before?
There's all sorts of different spots and places you can kind of go to. It depends on what you're into and what interests you. You can go up to the top of the North Island if you want to look at that sort of stuff. Auckland's pretty busy if you like the city and being close to the ocean and whatnot, or you can go down to, the Coromandel, to the peninsula where it's very hot and it's got its own microclimate. Go down to Taupo, there's a massive lake down there where there's the mountains where you can ski, or you can go down to the South Island to places like Queenstown where there's a lot of kind of tourist attraction, uni students, lots of skiing and outdoor activities.
Yeah, nice. I could imagine Auckland would be busy.
Auckland's the biggest city in New Zealand. It's just not the capital. I don't know why it's not the capital, but yeah.
Well, Auckland is a big city, so that's probably why it's busy. It's good that you guys have like snow there. We don't really experience snow in Australia. I mean, the closest you can get is if you drive to Katoomba or like faraway rural area. In New Zealand, it seems that there's things to see there and kind of nice landscapes for sure. A tradition that is in New Zealand is what's called yardies. I have been familiar with that term. We don't call them yardies in Australia, but have you ever done them?
Yeah, you're supposed to, well, it's tradition when you hit 21 to either do a yardie or 21 shots.
21 shots, wow. Isn't yardies those? We have a similar thing in Australia where people have like funnel looking things with a circle at the bottom. I don't know what they're called. And for 18th birthdays or milestone birthdays, especially like boys, they will kind of scull them down.
I think it's just a kind of oceanic celebration, if you will.
Are you big on beer or not really?
Don't mind a cold Corona on a hot day, but I mostly drink a lot of vodka. I normally mix it with, soda water or Coke or, whatever I can get my hands on.
You're that type of person that drinks at special occasions or if you feel like it.
I just, I don't know how you'd put it. I used to drink a lot when I was a teenager. I used to drink, every weekend, all weekend. My body can't handle it anymore. Feel hungover for a week after. So yeah, I've stopped drinking completely. I normally only drink if I'm away or yeah, as you said, a special occasion. I went to a wedding the other weekend and had quite a bit to drink, and I was just really hungover for a week after. So yeah, I try not to drink anymore.
Yeah, that's a shame. The older you get, you can't handle it.
27 this year, so I'm not exactly young anymore. Either beer or red wine now is kind of what I drink.
What would you say your future plans would be with streaming?
Say more platforms. I'd like to make a YouTube account and start making videos. Maybe get myself a video editor. Want to kind of update my badges, build a new PC for streaming, which would be a ideal goal in the next year or two. Just want to be able to do everything I can and not be limited to anything with what I am at the moment. I think would be the biggest goal to set for me. Pushing for partner would be another goal in the future. Also, it'd be cool to get some more sponsors under me. At the moment, I get free Red Bull, which is quite cool. I'd like to get some New Zealand sponsors and be able to promote a whole lot of companies that don't get promoted because of gaming that should be. So yeah, that's kind of the goals I want to set myself.
Yeah, you don't want to get involved in any limitations for sure. And those sound like pretty good goals, like a sponsorship, and hopefully, fingers crossed, one day you'll be able to, progress and reach for partner. That would be pretty cool. Goals are definitely important, and it can help you not get bogged down into a negative mindset with streaming. It's definitely one thing streamers definitely have a challenge with, the mindset for sure. Does it get to you a little bit in the mindset with streaming?
Nah, not really. I don't really care what other people think. I think a lot of people take streaming too seriously and think when they get big that they're, top shit, and think that, no one can touch them when they're, famous. I never want to be I never want to be like that.
Yeah,
I think fame gets to people's heads and they think they're invincible.
yeah, me neither.
It just bores me. I find a lot of streamers that I used to watch are famous now, and I don't even click into their streams anymore because they're just boring. They just talk about themselves, and that's not what streaming's about. It's about their community and about their viewers.
Yeah, it's not. It's not all about that. And you're right. Once streamers get to partner and they reach 100, 500 views, they lose the connection with their viewers a little bit. Over time, it's inevitable you do lose connection with your viewers, but the fact that the more they grow and progress, the more unreachable they become off stream because they think that they're well off or famous enough not to. So it's quite an interesting topic to kind of talk about. There's no right or wrong way on how to do things and how to become a streamer, but at the end of the day, it comes down to your morals and values that kind of remind you on what you want to become as a streamer.
Yeah.
All right, Maddie. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. It was the time for sure.
Yeah, no worries, Tiana. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll might see you in stream again.
For sure.
All right, bye bye.